over. Welcome to the Segmented Podcast, the show where we bring you 3 segments each episode, ranging from discussion to improv. How you doing, Noah?
I'm doing so freaking well because my animals are super healthy and fancy-tastic, and what's great about it is that I don't think they're starting a revolution. I think they have started from wanting to take over my barn and the country to just destroying the world. So at least they won't be in control. Last episode, I thought they were building a silo, which turns out it is definitely a missile. I will get the government on this. I have contacted them, and we'll see if they are willing to help.
Okay. Yeah.
But good news, they're not trying to overrule our government. So
got it. That's.
so-
I mean, for now,
Yeah.
it sounds like a good situation.
Agreed.
I had an okay week. I've been a little paranoid. I got sick of having like the AI toaster and the AI oven and all that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just too much. So I'm going with the movement. I'm going full nano, all nanobots. No, large sized mechanical robots. The only problem is I was kind of expecting them to like stay together.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out they're just bugs.
Oh.
And so I brought them home, and I set them down in a box. I opened the box, and like I didn't expect them to be on or moving or alive or anything, and it wasn't. It just looked like a bag. It looked like a box of flies, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I came back from work, the box was empty. So I have no idea where they are. They could be in my walls. Maybe they just left the house, and maybe I'll just take it as a loss. But I kind of feel like they're somewhere in the house doing something, and I don't know what. So I've been a little paranoid. I haven't seen any signs of them. I haven't thought to call the company where I got them. But yeah, I'm just going to kind of wait.
Well, it seems as though you have thought to do that. You just haven't acted on it.
I haven't, until I've talked to you, I haven't kind of realized that that's an actual option that I probably should have done as soon as possible.
You know what? This happened to a buddy of mine. It's a very common thing.
Okay.
What worked for him? Giant electromagnet brings all of them back. It also takes all of your pots and pans and everything that is even remotely metallic. But
that's okay. Everything in my house is made out of bamboo, so I'll
perfect.
be okay.
You're
I'll give that a try though. I'm a little worried though. I do have metal doorknobs, and if I'm holding the magnet in front of me, a doorknob might come up from behind and gouge me all the way through.
Yep. Do you have any fillings or anything?
Actually, yeah, I do. I didn't even think of that. That probably wouldn't end well either.
Yep. And make sure that nobody that has any sort of like braces or anything or metal glasses within a 5-mile radius. You want to get them away. But other than that, I think
you know what? I'll probably just think of something else. But I like the idea. I appreciate it.
Yeah. It worked for my buddy, although he now has he had a bunch of holes throughout his house that were shaped like pots and pans and shaped like a TV.
Yeah, that's understandable. You just gotta take it when you're trying to get rid of those bugs, because it's like an exterminator, except it takes the form of a very large destructive magnet that can pierce human flesh if given the chance.
I mean, so can exterminators. So
that's true.
So for segments today, I think we should get on to that, So we're going to start it off with a personal favorite of mine, Half-Life, and then we're going to move on to doing a discussion one that we haven't done in a while called Will You Press the Button? And then we're going to finish it off with some I Don't Know Man, which is a segment that we'll explain later. But if you know what it is, you're in for a treat, probably. I don't know. This is improv, and so it might suck.
It might suck.
It might suck.
That's true. It might also not suck though.
Yeah.
So grab your glass of water, get some popcorn. Unless you don't like popcorn because it gets stuck in your teeth and it's dry and crusty.
But if you have that water, it makes it significantly more tolerable.
Get some water or just a glass of butter. That works too. With popcorn.
Yep.
Have a seat or stand if you prefer to, or if you're doing the dishes.
Or if you're driving.
Or if you're driving, that's fine too. Just don't stand on top of the car.
Yes.
I do ask. I mean, not that we're liable for anything, but I feel like that's an important note following up, not to stand in your car.
Yes. Don't stand in, on, or around your car.
I mean, you could stand around your car, but
It's probably just best to not stand.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
just sit down. Or lay
Yeah,
down.
no,
that
I can't
works.
stand it.
Who's doing the first segment? It's you.
Yes. Segment 1, Half-Life. Basically, what we're going to do is we are going to get a prompt from the other person, and from that prompt, create a story. We're going to tell a story. We have 60 seconds to tell a story, and then, after we tell it once, we tell the exact same story in 30 seconds, and then, after that, we cut it down to 15 seconds, and then after that, we go down to 8, then 4, then 1. So we keep going down by half, and then that's it. I don't know what and then. So
Until we
then,
get down to a millionth of a second.
a millionth of a second. Yeah. Sometimes we do 2 seconds, but usually the difference between a 2-second story and a 1-second story is basically nothing. So we just skip 2,
Yeah,
which is why
probably just
there's a big
idea.
gap. So Benjamin, would you like to go first?
No, I actually don't. I want you to go first.
Okay.
All right, Noah, you need to pick a number between 26 and 27.
God. 27.
All right. Pick a letter between A and
J.
Pick a different one.
4, 6, 3, C.
Three. Okay.
Okay. Got it.
Your prompt is tropical toad.
I love that so much. Okay. Do you have a timer set for me?
Yes. I definitely have a 60-second timer set for you right now, actually.
All right.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Get set. Go!
Tom was a guy who really liked frogs and other, I was going to say arthropods, and other creatures known as flippin' hex. And so one day he decided to go on an expedition because he is a scientist who is studying frogs. Specifically, tropical frogs. And so he went to the Amazon rainforest and to study these frogs that were tropical, even if they were in the Amazon. And so he found one day, and that was 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Okay, and so he found a frog one day, and he put it in a jar, and while he was sleeping, he heard a noise that went, and he looked, and he saw that the tropical frog was glowing and was trying to break out. And so he jumps up and he walks over to it and he looks at it and he just examines it and he's like, "What is this?" And then the frog turned to him and looked into his soul with its beady round eyes.
Beep, 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 beep.
Okay, perfect.
Riveting tale, to be sure. Who's the pun master now?
Wow, that was, I'm never gonna forget that one. I'm still the pun master, don't take my title.
I'm sorry. All right. you got 30 seconds on the clock. I'll
Okay,
give you
and
a-
also, don't
Yeah?
tell me when it's halfway through, because it's kind of confusing with the segment.
Oh,
And
right,
also,
sorry.
it's better for the segment to not know.
I forgot that we had that.
You forgot?
Fine. 30 seconds. Go.
Oh, hi. Tom was a guy who was a scientist. He went to the Amazon rainforest because he's studying frogs. He found a frog one day that was a tropical frog, and he put it in a jar. He set it up, and when he went to sleep, he woke up, and he was like, "Oh boy, what is this frog doing?" Because he heard a noise that went, and then it was glowing, and the frog turned to him, and he stared into his eyes, and Tom heard a voice inside his head saying, "You are alone. You are alone." Gosh, okay. Also, I was just making a pun before with frog got, but it wasn't
Yeah,
a
you
very good
care
one.
to explain that? I actually didn't get that at all.
Oh, I thought you were just mad because I was like saying forget,
no,
but it
please
sounded
explain
like
at length the pun, please, Noah.
I was just saying that I was making a pun. I wasn't like explaining the pun. I just didn't sound like I was. It didn't sound when it came out of my mouth. It sounded like I was just saying forget.
No, I understood that it was a pun. That's why
Okay.
I did that. And then
Got
I
it.
thought you were
Okay.
you were trying to explain the pun, and I was like,
Oh,
oh,
no,
yes,
no.
please.
No.
All right.
See, Ben. There's these things known as frogs, and I'm talking about them, and therefore the word forget. You just switch to the letters, and then frog get? And so that's the pun right there.
Got
Yeah.
it. That's I mean, that's pretty clever.
Yes.
Anyway,
what I was
15 seconds on the clock.
Okay.
Get ready and go.
Tom was a scientist. He studied frogs. So one day he went down to the Amazon rainforest to study frogs. He found a really cool tropical frog. He put it in a jar. And then, of course, one day, the night, it was glowing, and he woke up and he heard, buzz, and then it stared at his eyes, and he said, "You are alone. You are alone. You are alone." Okay. Woo. Okay.
All right, 8 seconds.
Okay. Oof.
Get ready. Get set. And go.
Tom was a scientist. He went down to the rainforest and found a frog, and the frog was glowing, and he stared into his eyes and said, "You are alone. You are alone. You are alone."
Beep beep. That was really good. 4 seconds.
Okay, got it.
Ready, set, go.
Tom Rainforest Science glowing frog, you're alone.
Beep beep. Beep beep. All right. And last and most absurd, 1 second. Get ready. Get set. Go.
Frog, you are alone.
Beep 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 beep. Great. Frog, you are alone. Put that in quotes. Put a comma after frog. There you go. You got an inspirational quote right there. That's what my grandpa said before he croaked. I don't know. I don't know what got into us today. I normally really don't like puns. It's just kind of happening.
Oh, I'm so impressed. That was totally awesome.
All right. Good story, though.
Okay.
Puns aside.
Ben, are you ready for your story?
I am.
Okay, I just went to a random subreddit known as r/Steven Universe, which is based off the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe. And so pick a number between 1 and 25.
19.
19. Okay. Okay. Your prompt is found this on r/DDLC. You have 60 seconds on the clock, starting now.
I returned to the base. In my hands was a small gear. They asked me where I found it. I said I found this in the DDRC, and they're like, the DDRC? And I'm like, yes, of course. The Destroyed Delinquents Retirement Community. And they were like, what? That place is infested with zombie delinquents that were retired. And I was like, I know, but I managed to get the gear. And so then we opened it up, and there's a smaller gear inside. And they were like, well, what use is this to us? And I'm like, it's like one of those Russian dolls, but it's with gears for some reason. But like, since gears have a hole in the middle, like they slowly get thinner and thinner, not just smaller and smaller, because there's no actual like center of it. And then I was like, oh, I know what to do with this. So I walked over to our resident robot that we have in the dilapidated apartment, and I put the smallest gear into its eye, and it went,
stop. Okay. You have 30 seconds to tell the whole story again. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey guys, I found this gear from the dilapidated delinquents retirement community. It's like a gear, and when you open it up, there's just smaller gears inside of it, but they get thinner and thinner. Oh, I know what to do with this. There's a tiny one in the middle, so I'm going to put it inside of the robot's eye, you know, our friend robot, and then he goes, hello, I am a robot. I am alive now. I shall go destroy all of the delinquents that were retired. And then he left the room, and I was like, oh no, robot, don't kill the retired delinquents. They're nice now because they're old and sad.
Stop. I will go destroy all the delinquents. No, don't do that, robot. Stop. No.
I don't know where this is going either, no.
Okay, you have 15 seconds to tell that whole story again. Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2, 1, go.
I found a gear for the Destroyed Delinquents Retirement Community. Hey, there's a smaller gear inside of it, smaller and smaller gears. Oh, I put it into the robot. The robot's like, ooh, I'm going to go destroy all of the destroyed delinquents that were retired. And I was like, no, don't do that. They're sad and old and they mean well now. Please don't kill them. And then the robot left the room.
Okay, you have 8 seconds to tell that whole story again. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Gear from the destroyed delinquents retired community. I took the tiniest one out and I put it into the robot, and the robot left, and he said, I'm going to destroy all of the retired delinquents.
Ooh, okay, you have 4 seconds, and you gotta go faster because there's stuff that you missed out. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Gear, put it into a robot. The robot left and said he was going to destroy all of the destroyed delinquents.
Okay, you have 1 second. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Gear, robot, destroy.
Stop.
The thing is, like, there's certain, like, one-liners or, like, names that I feel like I have to put into it. You know what I mean? Like, and as it gets shorter, you, like, like, even you did it, like, you were, like, once it gets down to 4 seconds, you just, like, say the best parts. Sort of thing.
And when you're performing this live, what you really want to do is use your space. So you have checkpoints to go back to. So when you're cutting down, you just...
Oh my gosh,
and then you just, like... There's this one that I was... it was, like... They had a huge space. And they were, like, spies. And so what ended up happening was they forward rolled. They did, like... both did somersaults at the same time. And then they shot a... This is obviously made up. But they shot, like, a hook to the opposite side of a building and ziplined down it. And then did another forward roll, and then jumped all over the place, and they had to do the whole thing, and ended up doing it in 1 second, and they just went zoop.
It was awesome. I love that. Once you add like the visual aspect, and they have to do each of the actions. It's so fun.
Yeah, this game is thoroughly enjoyable when watching it live, like on stage, when people do it well. If they're just talking heads, and it's probably as enjoyable as this, which is still enjoyable, but I'm
great
just
band too. Great band.
What?
Talking Heads.
Talking Heads is a band?
Yeah. Road to Nowhere. Oh, never mind. Went totally over your talking head. Segment 2. Will you press the button? If you've been around here, you kind of know we have some discussion segments where we essentially just find things on the internet that we discuss. And in this segment, it's a website called Will You Press the Button, where you're given maybe something really good, really bad, but there's a condition to it. So it's something but something. And so you decide whether you're going to press the button or not press the button. So we're going to go through our favorites. Not it's necessarily favorites, just the most interesting ones that we could find. And we're going to talk about them and say whether we're going to press the button or not.
Indeed.
Noah, you can see through walls.
Ooh.
But you can never see walls at all, making navigation difficult.
No.
I feel like that's just a sad world to live in. Like, all of a sudden, like, one of your friends is like, yo, what's that over there? And then your other friend's like, you know what? I think that looks like a wall. Poof, it's out of existence. Like, you pick up your phone and your friend's like, is that a wall? And then all of a sudden your phone becomes invisible and you're like, dang it.
So it's whenever you perceive a wall or something.
That's what I assume because like
how do you determine a wall?
Because like the side of a shelf or a chair could be a wall. Like any flat surface, as soon as you perceive it as a wall, poof, you can't see it. Before you know it, you're just like you're blind. No, you can see
You can see people, because people are definitely not walls.
You can see people, and you can see... It's like
sandwiches.
In heckin' Minecraft, when, like, the world hasn't loaded, you see, like, the sun and the sky and people and maybe animals, but then the rest is just, like, this abyss.
Well, the thing is, it's like, you're, like, walking along one day, and then you're, like, talking to your friend, and it's like, and then you're like, oh, yeah, I can't actually see walls. And he's like, oh, wow, that's interesting. And then your friend is just like, wow, you saying that makes me think about this. Isn't the ground just kind of like a big flat wall that's on the ground? And you're just
and then
like,
you just tackle him and just start beating him to death.
On the ground that you can no longer see.
On the non-existent ground that is no longer there for you.
Wow, your dog sure looks like a wall. Oh, come on.
Come on, man. Why'd you have to do it to me like that?
That would suck. That would be not great.
Oh, that'd be bad, yeah. I'm gonna not press the button.
I would also not press the button. That sounds awful. Whoa, this one's interesting. You can sing perfectly in tune in any language ever, and your fame will be global. But you will no longer exist in the real world and are only known as a computer program or a hologram when singing live.
So you get to be a Vocaloid essentially.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. But it's the
Yeah,
perfect
I mean,
Vocaloid.
I'm down.
I mean, there's no downsides to being a Vocaloid. Except
Yeah,
that you
I
can't
mean,
taste
like,
food.
Literally, I'd be worshipped. I'd be put in literally any form of media I could ever think of.
Which could be a bad thing if you think about it.
I
long
mean,
enough.
yeah, but like all publicity is a good publicity.
That's how that works. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. You can turn into any mythical creature you want
Ooh.
at any time,
Ooh.
but people know about this and try to hunt you down and kill you.
Oh. Yeah. 100%.
I mean, I'd do it.
I would so do it.
I'd turn into one of those big floaty dragons from
Yeah.
Japanese mythology. I'd just like float around ominously in the sky.
See, that's the great thing about it. It says from mythology. It doesn't specify which mythology. There's so many different mythologies that I could be like, hey, I'm Zeus.
I mean, yeah, you could
He's
just
a creature,
do that.
right?
Technically, yeah.
So,
I'd be
I mean-
like, I'd be one of those like cute or like harmless like mythical creatures, like from. I mean, heck, in anywhere. Most mythologies have something like that, like a little like forest imp guy or something. That's
Yeah.
like, if you give me an apple, you have good fortune for 10 years.
Yeah, the
And then just-
harmless ones that just help the protagonists.
And I'd
then
have
there's
to be
things like,
all of them. I'd have to like go run and then like stop and be like, okay, I gotta turn into this thing. And you just like you follow this one person and turn their life into like a fairy tale.
that would be amazing. I would love. You know what? You could make so much money off that.
I mean, you could. You'd also probably get shot pretty quickly.
Yeah, true. Because the thing is, like, people. It says that everyone knows like about it, and they want to come and hunt you down. So like, you're never safe. But like, there's gotta be like an invincible mythological creature. But that said, it would be like a nuisance to like have people try to shoot you every other day. So
That is, yeah.
I still think I'd do it. That sounds amazing.
I would, yeah.
You will get a lightsaber, but you can't let go of it. I love this one. Because it's like, at that point, you basically just have, like, what, do they, like, super glue it to your hand, or, like, if you let go of it, you die? Like, what is it? Do you have to, like, consciously
like
be holding
it's-
on to it the whole time, or?
It's just attached to your hand.
It's
You
just
literally can't
like,
get rid of it.
basically your hand gets turned into a lightsaber.
You have a lightsaber, but you can't. That might be my favorite.
It's actually one of my favorite questions
I love
that
that.
we've gotten so far. So, like, lightsabers for hands is basically what you got here. So,
Edward lightsaber hand.
Edward, what?
Edward lightsaber hands.
That's my name. It's
That's
like
what
Edward Scissorhands. I get your joke. I was just.
Yeah, I got it.
Except the thing is, wait, what if all of your fingers were lightsabers? Like
No,
Edward
that's
Scissorhands.
just sad. That's just sad.
But you like could turn them off. It's just you could go like, "Vroom," and then like, oh, what if you just had like Wolverine claws that were like lightsabers? That would be legit.
That would be pretty awesome. Just like, yeah, you just have lightsabers coming out. Okay, yeah, that would be cool.
The top comment for the lightsaber one is, why would I let go of it? Which is a fair question. Segment 3. I don't know, man. Basically, what we're going to do is we both have come up with 3 absurd questions that don't actually have an answer and don't make any sense, but what the other person has to do is answer them. We have to try to answer these questions with the best possible ways, thinking logically, or just trying to answer the question. Sometimes it might be an advice question. Some questions are about the world, quote unquote, because it's like a new world that we thought of, and so we can come up with new ways that physics works, new reasons why psychology does a certain thing or whatever, but we just have to answer the question even if we alter our version of reality in order to do that.
It's great practice if you want to debate, but you know nothing.
Exactly, which is how I debate everything in my life. That's how I just live my whole life.
Argue points that you have no basis for. You just like using words.
It usually works. What is my first question, Ben?
So, I had someone ask me this today, and I was kind of at a loss because I realized I didn't actually know. My brain just kind of skipped it. whenever I thought about the subject. But where do the Delumpfers go after they get done working in the pepper mines?
Oh, the Delumpfers?
Yeah.
They usually just go home, back to their houses in the Forbidden Forest.
What do they do at home, though? Like,
I mean, what do you do when you get home? They watch their TV, they watch some Yalple on the telly, and they cook some dinner. They usually, because we don't pay them, like, money, because they don't need money, we do give them pepper. So we do actually let them have pepper, and they usually take that, cook it up, make some dinner, feed their children if they have any. If they don't have children, then they feed other people's children. So, you know, it's how it goes.
So do they have, like, are they, like, they just, like, live on their own in the forest? Or, like, is it, like, a community? Do they have, like, a town?
Well,
they never
have, like,
seem really
social. Have, like,
in the mine.
Well, they have established neighborhoods, but they're not super social creatures. It's mainly, the only reason they have, like, clumps of houses is because it's cheaper and easier to build them that way. And they are very frugal people, so...
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it makes sense. They don't really have money. They just kind of have pepper.
Yeah, they really don't have any money at all. So, but they also don't think they need it, so that's okay. That's good, though.
Well, I'm glad I can find some common ground with them. Like, you know, just, you know, cooking sometimes, watching some Yalple. I mean, yeah, they aren't that different. They just have a different, you know, way of life, sort of.
Indeed. Hey, what did you do with the candy maker?
With the candy maker?
Yeah, what did you do with him?
Well, I replaced him.
Oh.
He wasn't doing his job. He was supposed to give the kids candy. Instead, he was asking the kids for money for some reason and not giving them candy. So I replaced him with a different. I replaced him. It's essentially
okay.
So now the kids get candy free of charge, like it should have been from the very beginning.
Well, that makes sense.
I don't know where he came from. I don't know really.
Well, he looks like a Delumpfree to me. So I mean, there's a chance that that was a good job hiring him, because like he doesn't even need money or want money. So
right, but there's not. I mean, he's used to the pepper though, and there's obviously no pepper in a candy. It's just candy, so I can't even pay him with candy.
Ooh.
I did actually kill the other candy maker.
Okay.
But I mean, I still replaced him. Like, it's not like that was a lie.
Yeah.
I feel like if you can't do your job in the town, like if you can't fit the niche, then we don't really have time. You know what I mean? Like, it's nothing against them or the way they do stuff. Just like, if you can't, you know, survival of the fittest. If you can't fit it, if you can't fit the bill, then you're just out, you know?
Yeah. Welcome to communism, everyone. That's good. I just wanted to make sure because my children were wondering, because I have children now. So
yeah. Well, I hope they get plenty of candy from the new guy.
Yes. And they've gotten plenty of it. They weren't complaining, they were just curious.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just tell them as much as they need to know.
All right,
if you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean.
Now, Noah.
Yes.
I have a very strange question to ask you.
Oh, really?
Okay. Because I know a lot of people don't take this very seriously.
Ooh,
they think it's just a joke. But I took it very seriously when I heard about it. So I was going to ask you, why did they cut funding from the Fun Factory?
Oh, okay. So the reason that they cut funding is because when they were getting funding in the first place, people were complaining that the word fund had the word fun in it, and the Fun Factory is the only place that's allowed to have fun. And so they just cut funding altogether. So now they don't get funding. They do, in fact, get handouts and also stipends.
Got it.
But all funding is now cut because it contains the word fun. They also don't have any fundamentals of rules or anything like that. They also don't have funk music.
So hold on. So they I at first thought you were saying they had a monopoly on things that were fun, but it just sounds like they don't they don't like anything that's fun. They just don't associate with anything that has fun in it.
I mean, because they're creating the fun, they don't want anything to do with any outsources of fun, you know? And, like, funding is a huge outsource or, like, a fun thing. It's bad. So that's why they don't have any sort of funding anymore at all. Or fundamentals,
but
or
they
funk
still
music.
they still have money though, like 'cause
Yeah,
other
of
people
course.
are-
They get donations and they make money and allot it to the place, but no funding. Funding
Got
is
it.
bad. They do have budgeters who budget things, but no funding. That's unacceptable. So I thought it was a bold choice, but
I guess that
it makes sense.
then. Yeah.
So, Ben, I have a very similar question. When will the prophecy of the tiger lily be fulfilled?
See, it's tricky because last week you heard all the news about them thinking it's gonna be tomorrow. Oh, come on, any day now. Tiger lily prophecy. Big uproar. Everyone's losing their minds.
Which has happened like a lot in the past.
And then
few
I was
years.
like, no, because that's happened so much. I was actually just reading the stars last night.
oh, okay.
And I'm not gonna say I'm an expert, but I know my way around the stars and prophecies, and I'd give it at least another 12 years. I mean, I wouldn't go as far to say it'll be another 100, but like at least another decade or so.
Okay.
Because honestly, it has to happen. Well, okay, of course it has to happen when the tiger lilies are in bloom. It has to happen when there is a full tiger warrior, not just like a kid who wants to be tiger
I
warrior,
get
like
it.
a full knight,
Not
everything.
not once the warrior has been born, but once the warrior has trained into a full warrior, which
Once
takes
they've
many years.
reached their full potential, whatever.
Their warrior status.
Then by that time, eventually, then the meteor will come and the whole shebang. The lilies will wilt but no, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Sometimes it changes. Sometimes there's a change in the heart of the chosen tiger warrior, and it's very rare. But the prophecy doesn't change; it just changes when it happens. But right now, the fates are looking like it's gonna be at least another decade or so. We should see it within our lifetime. I'm not too worried though. It's definitely not gonna be anytime soon.
Got it. Cool.
Noah, how tall is the moon?
How tall is the moon?
How tall is the moon?
The moon. I think I could actually Google this. Oh, I can. 8,848 meters. That is how tall the moon is.
How say that again?
8,848 meters.
That's how tall it is?
Yeah.
From the diameter, or is that the diameter? Is that the radius? Is that how
When
far
you
it is?
Google it, that's what it says. But then if you keep reading from NASA.gov, the number that it was pulling from is actually the highest point on Earth.
What?
So it says the highest point on Earth is at the summit of Mount Everest, which is 8,848 meters
That's
above
not
the
how
sea level.
tall the moon is. I
No,
need
it's
to
not.
know.
But that's what happens when you Google it, and it makes me so happy.
Google, give me real answers. I need to know how tall the moon is. I need to know if my cousin, who claims to be 8 foot tall, even though they're not that much taller than me, I need to know if they're taller than the moon. I have to know. I have to prove them wrong. Greg is not taller than the moon.
Ben, the final question that I have for you is, how do you deflect the Chaos Grenade when one is lobbed at you from the top of a magical hill?
Ooh, okay. This is the easy one. All right, so there you are. You're at the bottom of the magical hill. Perhaps you're even in a magical plane, or it's a non-magical plane. I don't judge. So at the top of the hill, you got a wizard, you got a warlock, you get someone who has a chaos grenade. Very, very powerful weapon. Essentially, anything that it collides with, it removes any order or form of information, organization from it. Totally chaotic. People with OCD just hate it, can't stand it. So they lob it at you. It's kind of, they threw it up a little high because, you're a distance away, even though they're at the top of the hill. It's coming towards you, and you don't happen to have a chaos shield with you. So you can't just block it. You have to find a way to deflect it.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm being honest with you, a stick would work.
Oh, okay.
If there's a really stiff weed around, the important part is you want it to be something from nature. Because on the off chance that the grenade does somehow get set off by whatever you hit it with, transforming the stick or the weed into something chaotic will normally just make it gnarled. If you hit it with a sword or anything that like you consider a part of yourself, like a glove,
Oh, yeah,
or even
gloves,
like if you have a walking stick that you carry around a lot, then you might get, transformed. You don't want that. It's bad things happen. So
Understandably so.
It's not easy, but maybe even if you got a bunch of sticks, just fan them out, just whack like crazy, stop it from hitting you. You should be okay. As far as taking care of the wizard or warlock afterward, I don't really have much advice for you, especially if you don't have any magic weapons with you. That's a bit of a bad situation. But yeah, chaos grenade's really not as scary as you'd think.
All right, thank you. It just has such a menacing name that I just thought that.
It sounds like the harbinger of death and destruction, but it's really not.
Yeah. That is the end of the show. We hope you did enjoy it. What did we learn today, Ben?
Oh, tons. You know what? I learned today it's not that bad if you want to just go and get a toad, get a frog in the middle of the forest. He might talk to you. He might say you're lonely, but that's okay. It's not that hard. You can just go out and pick one up anytime.
Mm-hmm. We also learned that if chaos grenades are being thrown at you from the top of a magical hill, just get a stick and you'll be fine.
I forgot that puns can sometimes be funny. I
True.
submit to being a pun fascist, a pun hater. I want to apologize for my actions. I feel bad because frog puns are hilarious.
They are. And finally, we learned that if you could have a lightsaber for a hand, you'd totally do it. 100%. We also learned how tall the moon was. You can find Noah on Twitter at Nomich_ and Ben at Tendo. Email the podcast at segmented.fm@gmail.com and support the podcast on Patreon at patreon.com/segmentedfm, which I would like to note something of. We have a new Patreon supporter. Everyone give them a round of applause. They are known as Definitely Not Noah's Sister, and they are supporting us with $5 a month. So watch out, world. We will probably be performing a song soon, because that is what we do when we get new Patreon supporters. They send us a paragraph, and we make a song out of it. So that's cool. I would also like to note that on Patreon, if we go over our goals, at $30, we will both put ourselves through immense pain by eating one of the world's hottest hot sauces. And if we get to $25, we will be doing a 30-minute improv special for the Patreon supporters. So if you want to hear that or want to get us to that point, then come on in, join the segmented family, which is not really a family because you don't normally pay to be in a family, but join us. I mean, that's not how my family works. I bet some families work like that, but not ours.
Mine does.
Yours does?
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Wait, does that mean I could totally join your family?
No. I mean, there's like a hazing process too. You can't just decide to be and then pay.
Okay.
It's a double deal.
That'll be fun. You can help us reach those goals, but we are now making $16 a month, which means we have reached our goal for how much we need to keep the podcast going, which is very special and I'm very thankful to everyone who has supported us. So from my mouth to yours, thank you.
From my lips to your ears.
That makes more sense. From my ear to your left pinky toe, thank you. That was my ear saying that. Anyway, if you do actually thoroughly enjoy or even partially enjoy this podcast, share it with your friends, tell them how much you like it, tell it to anybody who listens to podcasts. Of course, that would help us. Thank you very much to everyone who has done that. And with that, the
other
ones
weren't. Wait, what?
They've taken over the podcast. I don't know how much time I have until they're awake again, but I just knocked both of them out. They still have Ben, and I was able to escape, but just barely. They're on to us, and I don't know what's happening. Oh no. Hey. Wake up. Hi. Okay. Finish the podcast.
Right.
What happened?
Well, I don't know.
He escaped. How did he escape?
I don't know. I didn't see him. You were here and then you were on the ground and oh gosh.
He didn't get to the podcast, did he?
No, I don't think so. At least
Okay.
I didn't see him.
And you zapped him?
Yeah, as quickly as I
Okay.
could.
Okay. Oh, goodness. Okay. We're fine. We're fine. Plan's going well. Plan's going well.
Everything's fine.